Hey everybody, this is Kyla here from Waveflow, the mindfulness practice that creates ripples of acceptance, meaning, and appreciation. I'm excited to share an upcoming series of thought-provoking and honestly just inspiring conversations in celebration of my new intention-setting workbook, North Star. In my own effort to practice what I preach, when launching into this project, I clarified my own intention of vitality to spread this practice of intention setting that I deeply recommend and share on a regular basis. So how did we get here in the first place? If you're new, I started Waveflow a few years ago when I realized that the times when I stayed committed to a consistent daily gratitude practice, I was living more vibrantly, connecting with people, willing to face my own fears and take risks in the spirit of curiosity and having a growth mindset. Really, I just had more fun. Over the years, I've facilitated workshops for different groups, and one of my absolute favorites has been Waveflow's entrepreneurship workshops. I've felt the most inspired learning how these entrepreneurs not only created something out of just the spark of an idea, most importantly, how they kept the fire burning and what they had to do to nourish their idea into reality over time. I, of course, started to nerd out about founder success and drove into books and research studies to learn more about what differentiates leaders who, quote unquote, make it. Above all, the two qualities that kept resurfacing in my research were grit, a willingness to keep going when most people would normally give up, and self-compassion, a recognition that what I'm up to is hard, and a willingness to accept that I might not do everything perfectly, and that's okay. My conversations with these founders and entrepreneurs were no different. You will love hearing how they started out, what they did to keep going, lessons that they've learned along the way, and what they're most proud of when they look back on what they've created thus far. Of course, when we set out with a clear intention, the universe will deliver tests to challenge our own commitment to what we've set out to do, and in my case, it was no different. After I had gone out on a limb, reaching out to this season's future guests, scheduling podcast sessions, planning out Waveflow's fall season of workshops, one of my kids had a little accident that kept them out of school and hanging out with me for about a month. Once it was clear that my little one was going to be okay from a health perspective, I couldn't help but laugh at the situation. Woman sets out to launch an intention-setting workbook, and said intention was challenged. I refunneled the vitality I had hoped to pour into this workbook launch, workshops, and podcasts, and instead poured it into my 4-year-old son. We played Uno, we did puzzles, we made fire station towns out of Play-Doh, and eventually we were able to get out of the house more. We kayaked, visited museums, and exhausted all of the Bay Area's low-impact, toddler-friendly activities. When I look back on it, that's the beauty of an intention over a goal. There's something to be said for the space that an intention offers a person to shapeshift and best serve the present moment situation. So, after just a little bit of a delay, we are finally here. On my own entrepreneurial journey, I've discovered how important it is to learn from mentors and surround myself with a community of people who have done what I am doing. I can't express enough how helpful this has been for me. These conversations in particular opened my eyes to how much pivoting, shape-shifting, and continuing onwards is paramount to any founder's journey. So I invite you to soak up all the positive energy you desire from these conversations, and I hope that you hear what helps catalyze your own growth on your path forward in your business, your life, or your personal intention-setting process. If you love what you hear, you are welcome to try out the North Star Workbook for yourself. It's an intention-setting workbook designed to support you through a curated intention-setting process, followed by a month of consistent support so that you can stay committed to your set intention, which, trust me, is easier said than done. Expect your intention to come to life in incredible and unexpected ways as you generate it and regenerate it on a day-to-day basis based on what's actually happening in your life and in the world around you. When I started to plan how I could release this workbook in a way that felt true to me, The only way that worked was to do it in community with other people. So I hope you'll cheer on these entrepreneurs who have gone out of their way to support me and offer guidance and inspiration for our listeners. I'll drop the first story soon, and I can't wait for you to listen and reflect for yourself. I hope you discover a glimmer of your own life experience in these stories and are inspired to return to a structured intention-setting process for yourself. You can get a copy of the North Star Workbook for yourself on Amazon, and I'll link everything below in the notes. Please, please, please rate and comment on the podcast, the book, the free Waveflow gratitude journaling app, or these audio conversations. The best way that I can spread the practice and reach more people is through people listening and supporting. I'm excited to hear what arises as you discover layers of possibility and meaning making through a month-long commitment to the Waveflow intention setting practice. I am thrilled that you're here and can't wait for you to check back soon to hear the first conversation.